All right, let's dive into something I think we can all relate to. That feeling of having your attention just splintered, pulled in a million directions at once. Drawing from some really great insights by Kate Freeman, we're going to explore why so many of us feel so scattered, and more importantly, how a super simple mindfulness practice can help us train our attention and find our way back to calm.
So let me just ask you this straight up. Does this sound like you? On the outside, you're getting things done, you're functioning, maybe you're even killing it on paper. But inside, you're just wiped out. You feel like you're running on autopilot, and there's this little voice in the back of your head just wondering, why does this all feel so hard? If that hits home, trust me, you are so not alone.
You know, that autopilot feeling? It's not just some vague idea. Let's actually look at the hidden signs that our minds are totally overloaded. Because these are the real telltale symptoms that our attention system has been stretched way, way too thin. I mean, just think about it. How often does this stuff happen? That mental fog where you just can't think clearly, or snapping at someone you care about for basically no reason, or, oh my gosh, the classic, forgetting what you were saying right in the middle of a sentence. These aren't just random blips. They are all signals from a system that's just overwhelmed, leaving you feeling kind of disconnected and like you're just treading water. Okay, and this is so important. I really want this to sink in. This is not a personal failure. It is not a sign that you're weak. It's a biological signal, plain and simple. It's your nervous system sending up a flare saying, hey, our focus has been stretched way past its limits here. So if it's a signal, what's actually going on in our brains? Well, to get that, we need to peek under the hood a little bit and look at the neuroscience of focus. This is the why behind that scattered feeling, and it explains why our attention feels like a resource that's constantly on empty. The easiest way to think about it is this. Your attention is kind of like the battery on your phone. Every single email, every task you're juggling, every little worry, it all drains that battery. And neuroscience actually backs this up. Our capacity for attention isn't endless. It's a limited resource that gets totally worn down by multitasking and stress. And just to show you how critical this is, I absolutely love this quote from neuroscientist Dr. Amishi Jha. She calls attention the brain's boss. And it's such a perfect metaphor because it's so true. Wherever you point your attention, the rest of your brain literally follows. Your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, they all take their cues from your focus. So when your attention is scattered, guess what? Everything else feels scattered too. But here it is. This is the most hopeful, most empowering part of this whole conversation. This is the game changer right here. Your attention isn't fixed. You can actually strengthen it. You can train it deliberately, just like you'd go to the gym to train a muscle. And that one insight changes everything. It's no longer a problem we have to suffer through. It's a skill we can build.
Okay, so if our attention is like a muscle, how in the world do we start training it? Well, it is so much easier than you think. Let's get really practical here with a simple 3-step practice that you can use anytime, anywhere to start bringing your focus back home.
But first, let's bust some myths. You do not have to somehow force your mind to go completely blank. That's basically impossible. And you definitely don't need to carve out hours of silent, perfect meditation time. No. All you really need is the ability to notice when your mind has wandered off and just a few moments to practice gently bringing it back. That's it. That's the whole thing. So here is the practice itself. It's just 3 steps. First, you notice. The very moment you realize, oh, wow, I was totally lost in thought. That's the beginning. That awareness right there, that's a win. Second, you anchor. Ground yourself in this moment with a physical feeling. Take one slow breath, feel your feet on the floor. And third, you choose. You consciously decide where you want to put your attention next. Back to your work, back to the conversation, maybe just back to the feeling of your hands. And here's the coolest part. Every single time you do that, notice, anchor, and choose, it's like doing a bicep curl for your brain. You are literally strengthening the neural pathways that are in charge of focus and emotional regulation. Each tiny little return builds up your mental muscle over time. And as you start to build that muscle, something really profound starts to shift. This tiny little practice, it starts to change the whole rhythm of your life. It goes from being this thing you do every once in a while to a totally new, more present way of being. And this is where the magic really happens. It's not just about your focus. It's about your relationship with yourself. When you get the science behind this, that heavy layer of guilt and frustration that so many of us carry around, it just starts to dissolve. Instead of fighting yourself, you learn how to support yourself. And that really gets to the core of what mindfulness is all about.
It's not some escape plan to tune out the world and all its noise. It's the complete opposite. It's a way for us to gently and on purpose tune back in to our own lives.
When it comes down to it, this simple practice becomes your compass. It's how you navigate through all the noise and distraction. It's how you find your way back, one moment at a time, to what's actually real. It's a return back to ourselves, back to the feeling of being in our own skin, centered and present, in a way that's so easy to lose track of.
And of course, it's a return to the moments that really truly matter, the little joys, the real conversations, the things that actually make up a life.
So I'll just leave you with this question. Knowing now that your attention is your most precious resource, and knowing that you have the power to direct it, where will you choose to place it next?